Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're connecting from. How are you doing today? Hope your week has been great. If you can hear me loud and clear, please drop a comment. If you can hear me loud and clear, drop a comment. How has been your week? Sky Graphic, morning. Abubakar, Mr. Abubakar, morning. How are you doing today? How has been your week? You can start dropping your questions, and if there's anything you want me to analyze, please let me know in the comment section. But before we start to this session, how's it been this week? Profitable, break even, or you're still in the negative? I'd like to know. If to anything on elements. You guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? What pair do you want me to analyze? Let me know. Okay, from Mr. Paul, GUEUDXY. Okay, so let's look at the calendar. Let's look at the calendar before we look at the technicals. I think today NFP is today, as you can see. CPI Swiss franc release is on CPI today, and it was positive for Swiss franc 0.2%. The actual and the forecast is 0.2%. So this is for Swiss franc, and by 130, regularly earnings and no comment released from the United States by PMI release, so we should expect volatility dollar base. Okay, we should expect activity on dollar base. Let's start looking at dollar index. Dollar index, I believe the dollar is what the comments. Let me know in the comments. Mr. Paul, what's the dollar index? So Wednesday, Tuesday. Can you guys hear me clearly? Can you hear me clearly? Can you guys hear me clearly? Is it better now? So, like I told you guys yesterday, that if yesterday candle closes bullish, we'll be looking for buy, and as you can see, it closed bullish and looks hoping that dollar would come fill this fair value gap it created here before going bearish. I'm still hoping technically dollar should come fill this fair value gap before going bearish. But remember, we have NFP news will be released by 1:30 p.m. Nigerian time. Okay, so let's see what we had on 4-hour time frame. I'm sure it's created a resistance on 4-hour time frame. Let's see. Okay, so it has created a resistance. It created a resistance on 4-hour time frame. So a breakout from this resistance would confirm. It would confirm that price has a high probability of to fill this fair value gap. Okay, it created a resistance yesterday. So if price breaks out from this resistance, then there's a high index will come fill this fair value gap. Okay, considering taking trades. Okay, but since my bias is bullish for that, in the breakout from the resistance, I will look for my buy opportunity. But if it breaks out from support, I'll say that dollar index has been in a range since the market opened on 1-hour time frame. So you can see on 1 hour, you can see it clearly that it has been in a range. It has been in a range. This is the low of the Asian session, and this is the high of the Asian session. So they might want to come to the liquidity residing at the low before going bullish on the dollar. However, I'm still very bullish on the dollar. Still very bullish on the dollar. Let's see yen basket. Let's see yen basket. Let's start with the daily time frame. Okay, so yesterday candle closed as a spinning top. That's an indication that yen is likely going to be bearish today. Let's go to the weekly time frame. I shared with you guys previous week that there's a high probability yen would come fill this value gap. Okay, so yesterday candle closed bearish. Yesterday closed bearish, right? Spinning top. So there's a spinning top. So after the close of yesterday candle, let's see the pattern we had on 4-hour time frame. Okay, so this is what we had on 4-hour yesterday. So it created a fair value gap here at this point. It's a 4-hour time frame. Price pulled back to fill that fair value gap. You can see that. Okay, what time did price fill that fair value gap? Yesterday was second, around 10:11 a.m. Nigerian time. Okay, so I would like to see price pull back, okay, to this zone. This is where I'll be considering selling the yen today. Okay, I would like to see price pull back to retest this zone. Okay, okay, I think let's see. Let's see. I think after the formation of this candle, this bearish candle, a fair value gap was created on 1 hour time frame. Let's see. On 1 hour time frame. Let's see. Okay, there was no fair value gap here. Let's see 15 minutes. So I would like to see price pull back to that area. So on 15 minutes time frame, we had this fair value gap here on 15 minutes time frame. Price pulled back to fill this fair value gap, created an high. So I would like to see price come sweep this high before going bearish on yen. So my bias for yen today is sell, but I'd like to see price pull back. Okay, I'd like to see price pull back to this zone before going bearish on yen. Okay, so that's my take on yen. I am bearish on yen today. The bias for yen is bearish. Bearish. If there's any pair I want me to analyze, please let me know in the comment section. I believe you all can hear me loud and clear. So we've looked at DXY. Let's look at EU and GU. So if my bias for dollar is, then I should look for sales on GU. I should look for sales on GU. Okay, so would say since the market opened, GU has been, let's start with the daily. Okay, so yesterday was strongly bearish. It was strongly bearish on GU. Okay, there was an attempt to fill this gap, but that gap wasn't filled entirely. You can see that the gap wasn't filled entirely. You can see. So I believe GU would come fill this fair value gap. I believe it come fill this fair value gap. Okay, so let's go down after the close of yesterday candle. Let's see the fair value gap that was created on 4-hour and 1 hour time frame. So we can see we have these fair value gaps that needs to be filled on 4-hour time frame. Okay, so this will be a good a good zone to sell. Okay, this will be a good zone to sell. 371. That's about 50 pips from the current market price. This will be a good zone to consider selling. Let's see H1. Let's see H1. Okay. So on 1 hour, we had this fair value gap. So this would be a good area to consider, selling GBP USD. This zone, these zones. Okay, these zones would be a good area. Okay, to sell GBP USD. Look for sales. Okay, this gap has not been filled entirely. So once this gap gets filled entirely and the bearish reversal pattern forms, or 1 hour candle closes below this zone, you could sell. But if price breaks out from this zone, it's going to aim for this next zone. So you wait for this zone to get filled. Once it gets filled, wait for a 1 hour candle to close below zone before you sell. That's my take on GBP USD. I believe GBP USD will range before NFP news. It will just keep ranging. Okay, is there probably that most USD pairs would be in a range before NFP. Okay, so you might want to wait for NFP data to be released before you take action on GBP USD. And if you want to go in before the news, going with small lot size, be very conservative. Don't go all in. Okay, don't go all in. So that's my take on GU. I'm bearish on GU, but still waiting for the right time, the right setup to take the trade. Okay. So let's see Euro USD. Then we'll look at gold. EU, since I'm bearish and bullish on the dollar, I should also look for sells on EU. So I would love to see EU first come fill this fair value gap. That is what I see. I expect on EU. It should come fill this fair value gap, and also EU still have this fair value gap here. But this will be the first target on EU. This will be the first target on EU. Okay, first target, second target. But let's start with the daily. Let's see how yesterday candle closed. You can see yesterday candle closed as an inverted, hanging man. It closed as hanging man. The previous day candle closed as a spine into up, and yesterday candle closed hanging man. This is a bearish reversal pattern. This is a bearish reversal pattern. So technically, Euro USD is supposed to sell. Okay. So let's see for hour. And I think what they've done this morning, I think they've swept liquidity residing at the previous high of yesterday. Let's go down to 4 hour. So I think they've swept that liquidity. Okay, and see. I think they've swept that liquidity. So what I see here is a sell. Is a sell. Okay, consider if price breaks out from this resistance. Okay, and as much the market is trading below this resistance, then the sellers are still in control. If buyers push price above this resistance on Euro USD, but at the moment Euro USD is bearish. It's bearish. If it breaks out from this zone, then it's going to come to this zone. Okay, so that's my take on Euro USD. USD card. Okay, Buka. Please give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done that. Give it a thumbs up so that others can get to see the video. Give it a thumbs up. Okay. So we looked at GU, EU, DXY. We've also looked at yen basket. So let's look at USD card. Then we'll look at gold. Okay, USD card. Let's start with the daily time frame. So on USD card 4 hour time frame, we have this fair value gap here. You can see that fair value gap has been filled, and you can see it's obvious that price is at the discount area, which means we should look for right. It means we should look for buy. So let's just see how yesterday candle closed. Okay, yesterday candle closed bearish, and you can see liquidity that was residing at yesterday low has been swept. You can see the liquidity residing at yesterday low has been swept, and price is at a discount area. So we'll go down to 4 hour. Let's see how last candle yesterday, I think, was this. Yeah, this was the last candle for yesterday market. Okay, and I think after the formation of this engulfing pattern, I think a fair value gap was created, and that is what price is trying to fill. Let's just confirm on lower time frame. Okay, so you can see on 1 hour, a fair value gap was created here. You can see the fair value gap that was created yesterday. Price just tested that level now. You can see. So if 1 hour candle closes above this zone, one can consider buying USD card. If 1 hour candle closes above this zone, I think it's a good risk to buy USD card, and your stop loss will be at this low. Your stop loss will be at this low. Okay, so that is what I see playing out on Okay, I think it's a buy based on should be a buy. Okay, should be a buy. Okay, so we can see this fair value gap is created here. So if you are buying it, this should be your first target. Should be your first target if you are buying it. If you are buying USD card, that should be your first target. Okay, so we have this fair value gap here. Okay, that should be your first target. This fair value gap here should be your first target if you are buying on USD card. Okay, it breaks out from this level, then it's coming for this relative equal highs. You have any question, let me know in the comment section. Is there any other pair you want me to analyze? Let me know in the comment section. Is there any other pair you want me to analyze? Let me know in the comment section. Let's look at gold. Gold. Okay, so let's start with the daily time frame on gold. Okay, so yesterday candle closed strongly bullish. It was strongly bullish yesterday. Yesterday candle cleared the liquidity that was reserved off on Tuesday candle. And this morning, what they've done here, as you can see, we had this fair value gap on a daily time frame. And see, we had this fair value gap on a daily time frame. Or let's go down to 4 hour. There's a fair value gap on 4 hour. So on 4 hour, we have this fair value gap here. We have this fair value gap. You can see price just filled. I think it has filled the gap. Okay, so you can see it has filled the gap, giving us a bearish vibes. Okay, it's a bearish pattern. Let's see 1 hour. Okay, so at this point, we had an engulfing pattern on 1 hour time frame. On 1 hour time frame, we had an engulfing pattern, created a fair value gap. We go down to 15 minutes. So it created a fair value gap at this point. You can see the fair value gap is created there, and I think it has filled. You can see it has filled that fair value gap, and the market is currently trading below that fair value gap. You can see. So this is a sell setup on gold. Gold is selling at the moment. It is selling at the moment. Gold is selling at the moment. Gold is bearish at the moment because the previous 1 hour candle closed below. This was the last candle. Previous 1 hour candle closed below the low of this fair value gap. So gold is bearish at the moment. Gold is bearish at the moment. Any question? Any question? Is there any other pen you want me to analyze? Let me know. Do you have any question? Is there any pair you want me to analyze? Please, if it's your first time joining the live stream, do subscribe to the channel so that anytime I come on live, you get notified by YouTube. Click on the subscribe button. So anytime I drop a video or come on live, you get notified by YouTube. Any question? Any question? Is there any other pen you want me to analyze? Let me know in the comment section. Let's see GBP JPY and US JPY. GBP JPY Ebuka, if USD card is positive, if it is bullish, then we should expect buy on USD CHF. Both pairs are positively correlated. But I'll look at that in a few minutes. Okay, look at that in a few minutes. So GJ has been bullish since the market opened. So what can I see on GJ? GJ, I think just filled a fair value gap here. Right, yesterday it filled that gap. And after the close, you can see this fair value gap on a daily time frame. And after the close of yesterday candle, go down to 4 hour. So this is what we had on 4 hour. So let's see 1 hour. Okay, so I'd love to buy GBP JPY. Okay, I would love to buy GBP JPY, but I want to see price pull back. This is where I will be considering buying GJ. I want to see GJ pull back to this zone before I would buy it. It should pull back to this fair value gap. This test was around, this was late hours of yesterday. Okay, this was late hours of yesterday. So I want to see price pull back to this zone before buying GJ. And if I'm buying GJ from that zone, this will be my next target on GJ. So I think GJ is one pair that I would focus on today. Okay, buy from 195 to 17. That's close to 200 pips. So I think GJ is, I love what I see on GJ. So I think I'll wait for price to pull back to this zone. If I buy from this zone, 195.94, my stop loss 194, my stop loss will be 195.38. That's about 50 something pips or 60 pips. I love what I see on GJ. So I'll patiently wait for price to pull back to this zone before going bullish on GJ. Okay. Okay, let's move. Next pair, USD CHF. So as you can see, USD CHF has it's been bullish. Let's start with the daily. So you can see how yesterday can do. The previous day looks like an hammer. That was on Wednesday, no, Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, Tuesday hammer, Wednesday inverted hammer. So that tells me that USD CHF is bullish. Okay, tells me USD CHF is bullish. Let's go down to 4 hour. Okay, so yesterday, let's see what we had on 4 hour. So we had this yesterday. It created a fair value gap on 4 hour. Okay, price pulled back yesterday. Okay, this gap got filled at this point, and yesterday they came back to test to sweep the liquidity residing at this low. They know a lot of retail traders have executed by after the information of this doji and this bullish candle, and where would they have their stop loss? Their stop losses will be residing at this low. So I think what they did yesterday was to come sweep the liquidity residing at this previous low that they have achieved. Okay, so if the previous 4 hour, this doji, let's see if it created a fair value gap on 1 hour or 15 minutes time frame. Okay, so I would like to see price pull back, let's say 15 minutes. Okay, so you can see the fair value gap it's created here. It's created a tiny fair value gap here. Okay, so I would like to see price pull back to this area before buying USD CHF. Okay, this is where I'll be considering buying USD CHF. I want to see price pull back to this zone. Okay, so my bias is buy. My bias for USD CHF is buy. You don't want to wait for price to pull back to that zone. If you don't want price to pull back to that zone, if you buy from the current market price, you ensure that your stop loss must be at this low, this low. This is where your stop loss should be. If you don't want to wait for price, so if you take this trade now, 7900 stop loss. Let me go to 4 hour. Let's see what we have on 4 time frame. Okay, so if you are buying from the current market price, your stop loss, I think it will be okay to use this as your initial stop loss. Okay, then when price breaks out from these highs, okay, you can now adjust your stop loss to this level. But initially, if you're buying from the current market price, your stop loss should be at this low. Okay, and from the current market price to this point is about 40 pips. 40 pips. Okay, so your first stop loss should be at this level. Then when price pulls back to this zone, you take more trade or adjust your stop loss to this level. I hope that is clear. So bias for US dollar Swiss franc is buy. Is buy. Technically, it should buy. But non-farm payroll data will also determine what will happen to price, where price grow to. Okay, but technically, if there were no fundamentals, I can give you a 80% or 70% guarantee that USD CHF would buy if there were no fundamentals for the dollar, no news for the dollar. I can give you a 70% guarantee that US dollar Swiss franc will buy today. But we are expecting NFP by 1:30 p.m. Okay, so that's my take on USD Swiss franc. Let's see USD JPY. That's coming from Mr. Abdul. USD JPY. Okay, USD JPY. Let's start with the daily time frame. So you can see Tuesday we had what looks like an hammer, which was used to sweep the liquidity residing at this low. That's the first thing we look out for, sweep of liquidity. Okay, liquidity residing at this low was swept, and after sweeping that liquidity, a bullish reversal pattern formed. Okay, though not a valid hammer, a bullish reversal pattern formed, and after the formation of that bullish reversal pattern, you can see yesterday candle closed as an inverted hammer, gave us support. So if we are considering selling, we have to wait for price to break out from that support, right? So right now the buyers are still in control, but if sellers are able to push price below the support, then we could say the buyers or the trend has changed, switched from bullish to bearish. But right now the buyers are still in control. Let's see 4 hour. Okay, so 4 hour created a fair value gap at this point. That gap has not been filled. You can see this fair value gap. There has been attempts to fill that gap, but it has not been filled. So this would be a good area to consider buying USD JPY. Okay, this would be a good area. I believe pattern here, this is a bullish reversal pattern. Most retail traders have executed buy, and there's a high probability they would come sweep liquidity residing at this low, and then using that opportunity to fill this fair value gap. Okay, so if you want to buy USD JPY, you could patiently price to pull back to the zone. Okay, before you buy, wait for price to pull back to this zone before you buy. I think it's about 50 pips from the current market price. So, and if you decide you want to buy from the current market price, your stop loss should be at this. Stop loss should be at this, and I think that risk is too much. That's about 110 pips. That's about 110 pips. So patiently wait for this. Pull back to fill this fair value gap. I see this as a trap for retail traders to start buying. So patiently wait for price to pull back to this zone before you buy USD JPY. That's my take on USD JPY. Look for buys on USD JPY today. Rotesco, are you in this class? Are you participating? Let me know, Rotesco. I notice most times it's after I've signed out, I've ended the meeting, that you drop your questions. Rotesco, do you have any pair you want me to analyze? Let me know. Let me know. If you have any question, let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Is there any other pair you want me to analyze? Do you have any question? Let me know in the comment section. Any question? Any question? Is there any other pair you want me to analyze? So it appears there are no questions. So I want to appreciate every one of you for your participation. Mr. Sky Graphic, Abdul, Mr. Paul, Ebuka, appreciate you all for your participation, and I wish you all a profitable trading day. If you have any question, send me a message on WhatsApp. If you have any question, send me a message on WhatsApp. Once more, I appreciate you all for your participation, and I wish you all a great day. Bye for now.